The modern history of CAS-CIAC in many ways begins with John Daly assuming a key role. The organization's first full-time executive director, his leadership and commitment helped lay the foundation that has helped CAS-CIAC grow and thrive over the intervening years.
When I came to New England at the end of the 70s, one of the first names I heard about in education was John Daly. John Daly was Mr. Secondary Education. Everybody knew John. It was important for people to be associated with him. And one of my early senses of the business was that it was important to have John Daly's imprimatur on whatever it was you were doing.
Easygoing, pleasant, hardworking, very knowledgeable, and I enjoyed working with him. And John welcomed me, made me feel at ease. Very happy to have you on board, and that started off how we went.
He was a very bright man, a very good writer, a very good speaker, a man who created an atmosphere where principals and ADs and coaches were all of us volunteered to work. Not really for him, but for the organization. And he was just very, very sensible. He seemed to be laid back, but he really wasn't that laid back. He was really an A-type personality.
John Daly was a national presence, no doubt about it. Everybody knew him. The leadership sought him out. I can recall on numerous instances that John was called out, called upon, solicited, and the advice he gave was 99% of the time followed. He was just so widely respected.
I think there was a lot of growth during his organization to start for the girls' sports coming in. And that was key back then. You know, Title IX was coming on at the late end. That was a big step for the CIAC, and a very positive step, having the women come into the sports category.
He went right along with us when it came to establishing programs for girls. He just relished it and was so proud that we were doing that.
John was an empowerer. I'm a personal example. A number of individuals who John went out of his way to make sure that they were deeply involved and recognized for what they were doing.
I said, well, you know, when you're assistant principal, you're not going to win them all. He said, no, I know you're not going to win them all. He said, but if you're fair and you're consistent and you do what you feel is right, then you're going to be okay. And I've always remembered that from John, and good knowledge, and helped me along the way.
Principals chose to be engaged to the degree that they were in CAS-CIAC. And during the late 70s and 80s, there was I think a major rush of involvement on the part of principals. And I give John Daly the credit for that.
I think anybody who lasts in this organization for 20 years, I think he has their support completely, and they would support him and be glad to work with him. And he was sorely missed when he left.
Personally fulfilled and satisfied to see the recognition that John Daly gets, because if it was within my power, I would see to it that he had this and more in terms of recognition for his leadership over the years. And I've met educators around the world, and John Daly and Gene Kenny, who I spoke of earlier, would be in a top 5 of the group of people I've met throughout my career. They're the best.